Hello and welcome in to The Last Word. I am your host tonight, Gabby LaSpisa, stepping in for Coach. And I am here not by myself with two of my two favorite people to talk Monday Night Raw with. First up, it is the man, the myth, Tommy Carlucci. Hello, how are you tonight?
What's up, Gabby? What's up, Rafi? And Coach, I guess, is on another vacation.
Coach is on another vacation, so I called in you.
Unbelievable.
And also Raphael Esparza is my number three here tonight. And yeah, how are you feeling tonight, Raph?
I'm doing good. I'm just wishing that I had PTO hours like the coach does. He gets to go on vacation, seems like every other weekend.
Listen, I mean, he was like, "Can you step in tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, coach. I mean, I guess so. I just stepped in for you before, but I guess you're a
Yep.
little busy." But if
Yeah.
you do miss him, guys, if you all listening miss Coach so much, he does have an interview up on the Behind the Turnbuckle YouTube with Shane Hartline. You should go check that out. But
Very
not a,
funny.
it's supposed to be funny. He's a comedian, whatever. But don't check that out before listening to this because we're going to get into Raw tonight, and I'm excited about it.
That's right.
That is right. So we are going to head right into the main event. They started the show. They ended Raw tonight. We had Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker, this brand new, heavy set, angry faction after coming off of WrestleMania. And now they have that main event with Sami Zayn, where Sami basically told Seth to go to hell. And we had the beatdown of Sami, and it ended with Seth Rollins hitting him with the stomp in the head after Braun basically annihilated him. So Tommy, I'm coming to you first. What did you think about the ending of Raw tonight?
Wow. It's incredible that in the first time ever, it was a TKO, a technical knockout.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never, ever heard that before, term used in all the years I've been with WWE. Of course, Seth has got his way. And have you guys all noticed, Seth's got this whole Messiah look now. He's got the
Mm-hmm.
big dark blue robe, velvet with the gold trim and the big white pants. And I mean, I don't know where all this power is coming from. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Braun Breaker. This kid, his upside is just unbelievable. And I feel sorry for Sami. Maybe Sami should have took the deal and not get that annihilation that Braun gave him tonight. So what do you think about it, Raph?
I'm a little bit shocked that they picked Sami Zayn in this spot to go up with Seth Rollins. I can think of a million other guys that I think can maybe pump up the crowd. But I'm more curious. The crowd really likes Seth Rollins. He doesn't seem like he's a heel to me. They're still cheering, they're still singing his music. I'm a little bit shocked. And then we saw it early. They mentioned CM Punk, crickets, but the crowd still pointed to ones up when they didn't mention OTC.
I'm happy you mentioned that, Raphael, because that was something I was like, why is he getting cheered so loudly, Seth Rollins? They're singing his theme music. He's coming in the middle of the ring. Before he even talks, he's letting them do his chant, and they're singing along to it. And I'm like, guys, aren't we supposed to hate him? Because don't you love CM Punk? And he just bested CM Punk and Roman. Aren't these two of these like very over guys that get these like crazy cheers? And then he did mention Punk, and it was crickets. Tommy,
Yeah.
were you like kind of shocked to hear that, or do you think that makes
Yes, because
sense?
it made no sense at all with the crickets there because how long has Punk been over and how much has the company really put Punk over in matches with Drew and he just seems to win everything. And then when the crowd didn't react to it at all, I'm like, boy, are they leaning towards the sides of Rollins? And is it part because of the wise man is now leading this new group of uh, the three of them right now, and I'm sure it'll grow somewhere down the line. And Rafi, just to answer your question, I think one of the reasons why they had Sami is because Rollins mentioned that they've been friends for over 20 years, seeing their kids born. So there's a
Mhm.
little storyline between Sami and Rollins, and that's one of the reasons why they picked Sami tonight to do the deal. And he didn't take it, and he got annihilated by Braun. This guy Braun is he's incredible, and his upside is it's there for the taking. It's
But if you're
unbelievable.
but if you're gonna be a heel, I mean, beat him down and shave his beard. If you want to be a good heel, do something.
I would
I mean,
love
I
that.
I saw absolutely nothing. They're still cheering. They probably cheered for him after he did all the final moves at the end. So if you're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
be a good heel, shave your head, shave your beard.
I do think Paul plays a part into the cheers because I do think people love
Yeah,
him so much. And every time he comes on, people are just
agree.
excited to see him because they know it's going to be good. And I think also they chose Sammy because they kept reiterating the bloodline. He was saying, this is just a new bloodline. And then Paul said to him, I supported you when you got out. Why can't you support me for getting out? He really did try that little backstage segment between Paul and Sammy. I thought was really, really good because Paul is, can manipulate kind of anyone, I think, to do anything. So it keeps your toes a little bit. But I could see what you mean when it comes to, Seth and Braun and the shaving of the heel and all that kind of stuff. You said, do we see them adding more to this faction, or do we think the three of them can carry this to where they're going with it?
No, I think they're definitely going to add to it. I think once the match happens between Becky and the Intercontinental Champ, I think Becky will win and she will come into this faction. And let's face it, I think the faction's going to grow by how many? I don't know. But you know what? My question is to both of you guys is like, where did all of a sudden Heyman and Rollins get all this power? Like he made that deal to Sammy, right? You join SmackDown, you do this, you do that, and I can get you how does he get him a title match? How does the wise man have that power? And Rollins, that's my question is, so are they really this big time Messiah thing now and everything goes through them? It's going to be interesting to see in the weeks to come where they really go with Seth as his Messiah and the wise man just looking over both of them, kind of dictating where they're going to go with this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because Pierce was, on vacation tonight that Paul kind of took it upon himself to go balls to the walls. I don't know, Raphael, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, Pierce is on vacation. Coach is on vacation. I just did the math together right now, but I agree. I still think Becky's going to be in with the belt, but that means can maybe see Becky and Seth versus CM Punk and maybe his significant other?
Oh man, people are stretching for that AJ return so bad.
And I'm number one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, listen, I wouldn't mind seeing Becky join, but also we have to see where they're going to take this with Seth because he came after Sammy and was saying all this stuff and he's looking for all these people, but he's not in a title picture right now. He's not going after one person or one championship. So it's like, how much can you really be controlling on top when you're not a champion and you don't have a title? So how long can you really keep the charade up, the charade of what you're doing without being like, well, it's because I'm the champion. I can make these decisions. Because right now you don't have a leg to stand on. You just have a wise man and you have a dog in Braun Breaker, which I just love. Braun Breaker's tan. Greatest tan in WWE, Tommy. I told you this.
That's right.
It is phenomenal AJ Styles, phenomenal Braun Breaker tan. I want to just say, he is by far the best. And the stare down of him with Sammy in the beginning when Sammy turned in the promo and was like, "And if you look at me like that again, I'm going to cut your." Braun is just such a good addition to what's going on. And Tommy, you were one of the first people to mention that Paul and him were doing something and you loved it. So I'm sure you're glad to see it happening.
He's a beast and they know where to pick. I mean, the guy's one of the top guys and he's young and he still has a lot to learn, but just the whole look, the stare down, his music entrance is great for him. And he just has that menacing look with that great tan. But the point is the dude can go in the ring. Yeah. That's the big thing. He's not just some big guy that just hits everybody. I mean, he can work in the ring, man. He is very athletic, agile. He can go ground and pound. He can high fly if he wants. And that's something unique in this business. When you're that big and that young and good, boy, the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah,
he's like when Triple H brought in Batista back in the day with their little with that little group that they had. He's like the younger version or shorter version of Batista.
It's so funny you said that. I saw a lot of graphics online of that, of him because, we saw Braun in a suit tonight coming out in the beginning. And then, and they were like, oh, that's kind of like old school Batista, like younger version of him coming out. So it's interesting you said that because I 100% agree. And everything Braun does becomes viral because of how strong he is and how athletic he is when he gets those hits and those spears. He literally, I thought he snapped Sammy in half tonight. So I'm excited to see what we see from him. I think what I would love to see with what's going on is kind of for him, why he decided to align with Seth. Maybe we'll peel that layer back a little bit because, you have the bloodline. They were all related, right? So they felt like they had to fall in line. What was it that made Braun be like, I'm going to be this right-hand man for Seth and I'm going to be in this? Is it just because of what Seth can do? Or did, Paul really pick at him for something that he wanted? Because I'm curious about that. Are you guys curious to kind of learn a little bit?
I mean, I think it's the power of Heyman. Look, I mean, look at the guys that Heyman has had, right? And they're all big time superstars. He had CM Punk, went to the moon with him. He had Brock Lesnar, went to the moon with him. He had Roman Reigns for how many years? He was champ for 4 years straight. When Braun Breaker sees something like that, he's definitely going to hook on to Heyman there and say, hey, if he did it with these guys, he can do it with me. And you just jump on it and you take the ride and you see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. A lot of positive things that we've been discussing about Raw tonight, and we liked the main event, but I think it's more of a wait and see to see what happens with this faction. But I think they're on the right road, and we are loving them so far, so it's definitely a good thing. We'll definitely have more to talk about them, but now we're going to cut some promos ourselves because we are transitioning now to promo school. I love when I hear that bell. It's like the cowbell, but like the good one, like from Saturday Night Live. That's classic.
Yeah.
I just see Will Ferrell hitting that cowbell every time because I get it. We need more cowbell, Tommy.
Yeah, more cowbell.
I am going to let Tommy hit the floor first on what you are cutting your promo on tonight.
Okay, my promos, and I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, is how entertaining New Day is. They turned heel. They were able to do it successfully because the crowd has definitely turned against them. They are so good at what they do. They were baby faces for years. Now they're heels, and I want to tell you why. They needed the tag team titles to elevate and entertain, and that's what this business is, elevate and entertain. They sat there at ringside tonight. I was more entertained by New Day doing commentary and going along with the boys there and talking about everybody than the War Raiders were for the length of time that they have had their tag team titles. War Raiders can't do stuff like that. And then when you have a title, you need to be able to work in a ring and you need to be able to cut a promo and you need to be able to talk a lot of junk. And they talk the junk and they're elevating those titles to up to here right now. And I just love the New Day and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And the crowd is accepting it now because now they're big time heels.
I mean, definitely. Raphael, what do you think about the New Day as the champs right now?
Very entertaining. I was a little questioned. I thought maybe they weren't going to be this entertaining as heels, but I was totally wrong. I'm eating crow, and I enjoyed them. And Tommy's 100% correct. And how they did it, just sitting there, weren't even wrestling, and they were more entertaining than the match itself. Listening to them, and of course they got involved a little bit, but it made the match more laughable, more entertainable because they were there.
I mean, I think it was Xavier that said he made one comment about like, yeah, he did that because he's fat or wow or something. And I popped so hard, like watching from home. I haven't popped like, and we had that guy who did the roast on the panel. He didn't make me laugh like that one time. That's a comedian. So, I mean, I think for me especially, I agree with you both on this. And like, I think when you think of tag teams that have just been around forever, you can't not talk about the New Day because they are just one of the tag teams of WWE. So whether you love them or you hate them, that emotional investment's there and it's good to have it either way. So if they're making you laugh, but you hate them, or if they're making you cry because you love them, it doesn't even matter because they're doing their jobs. And I hope they stay champions for a long time because if this was just the first night of them sitting there talking about, I just want to see them commentate everything. I would watch a show of just them watching tag teams fight each other and them just talking. And that's special. So I completely agree with you on that.
Yep.
All right, Raphael, you're up. Let's see your promo.
Well, we got to give some credit where credit is due. Let's give some tantalizing tag team wrestling who just gave us a $5 super sticker. So thank you out there for and he must think you're better than me and Tommy because I guess Gabby's the GOAT.
Gabby's the GOAT.
I love it.
I didn't even pay that person. I'm excited.
That's my promo school. Giving Gabby the GOAT her praise right now. Thank you for my promo. But I'm gonna go. I'm hoping the suits in the back are listening and watching us right now because I know they are. But are you guys seeing and listening with the crowd that Iyo is getting, the pop that she's getting every time she's doing something without the rest of her babyface girls that are with her? She's by herself. And she's coming and she's getting the pop she deserves. I think that's why they gave her the belt or didn't they retained the belt at WrestleMania because she's pleasing the crowd. I love her mic work. It's getting better and better every time they give her a chance on the mic. And I just think her ring appearance and her ring style is finally hooking up with the fans. So I think that's why she's getting the pop, and I think that she just deserves the pop because I love watching her in the ring. So thank you for the crowd for giving her the pop.
You know what else too, Gabby and Raph?
Mhm.
I think that she finally got the respect from Maria, right? She
Yeah.
shook her hand,
Yeah.
and I think part of that, there are a lot of big time Rhea fans, and Gabby, you're one of them. I'm one of them.
Mhm.
I think she's phenomenal. She has a great look, very unique looking, and she can go at any time. But she finally gave Iyo respect, and I think the fans respected the fact that Rhea gave her respect. Now we're going to give Iyo the respect, and I think that's a big part of it, right then and there.
Look at her ring appearance today
Yeah.
was so much different than we've seen in the past. And I think that's because they're starting to realize that the pop that she's getting when she comes out.
Yes.
She also looks happy. Like, she looks like she's enjoying herself. She came out and she looked more confident tonight than ever, which is not always what I've seen when I see Iyo, and that's why I would question her as a champion. But I'm going to tell you right now what is the turning point for people loving her, and this is my opinion, and I think it's true. Seeing her family cry at WrestleMania in that front row, you can't tell me that doesn't make you love more than when there's any kind of emotional investment when it comes to the family or your parents being proud of you. That changes everything because it humanizes
Yes.
the person we're watching.
Yes.
This is what I wanted them to do with Iyo from the very beginning of her being champion. I said, give me a segment of her back home and working her ass off to get here and having all these opportunities and, like, breaking down these walls and stuff, and show her family, make her a person that you want to root for. And they finally did that when we saw that. And that was the turning point for me, where I was like, okay, now I get it. And I think we're seeing a tag team matchup with Rhea and Iyo, I think, at Backlash now against
Yeah.
Julia.
Yeah,
We're kind of predicting that a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's the best part of the night. It's when I get to cut my promo. So just sit there and listen to some noble words, because what I'm going to be cutting my promo on tonight is the one and only Pat McAfee, because we saw that huge debacle happen last week with Pat getting beat down by Gunther, which he played off well. I thought it was really awesome. And we said we're going to hear from Pat tonight. So Pat gets up on the commentary booth and he just cuts one of the best promos that I've seen someone cut in WWE in general in a while. And he's not even main roster, talent. He's the commentator, but not only just a good promo for Pat McAfee, a good promo in general. And I think him explaining how much Michael Cole means to him and why he had to stand up for his friend and what he's done for him is a very relatable thing for every fan to listen to when it comes to loyalty, when it comes to standing up for people in your life that you love and you respect. And I think it's an amazing angle. I was hoping he was going to say he was getting a match at Backlash with Gunther, because I think it's going to be an absolute beatdown, because it's so emotional for Pat, and Pat's so good on playing emotion. That's what he does. That crowd was absolutely eating it up alive. And I think this is a good turn of, like, what's going on for Gunther, because you make Pat this uber loved babyface, and now people hate Gunther even more. And we're not even going to see him for a couple weeks, so people are going to hate him even more. So I absolutely loved it, and I'm excited to see this match, and I hope Pat McAfee kicks his ass. We all need a friend like Pat McAfee in our lives.
Yes.
You ask me.
And the other thing is, Pat McAfee's promo, if he struck a nerve with you or an emotion, he's got you.
Right.
And he got that for me. When he started talking about his father being working hard in Pittsburgh, didn't come from a lot of money. I'm not the best looking guy. It's all about hard work, emotion, and passion. And that's what the promo business is about. They got to strike a nerve with you. They got to strike an emotion with you, and something that you're passionate about. Let's face it, a lot of us didn't come from rich family or anything like that. Pat is one of them, and he has made it, and he's done a great job. That promo was one of the best promos I've seen in a very long time, because he got emotion, he got a nerve, and he got a passion. Now, unfortunately for me, I think he's going to take a really bad beatdown from Gunther. He may do some spot there, but there is no way he can go over on Gunther at Backlash. But it's very interesting, and I want to hear Michael's Cole reaction when he's calling that match at Backlash. That's what I'm interested in.
I feel like Michael Cole might start crying. If Pat really gets his ass beat, Cole's going to cry.
Yeah,
Cole's going to interfere in that match. That's going to be that's going to be one of the prop bets I want to know. He's going to do something in that match, but I'm going to step back on his promo. To me, that promo, fantastic. But that promo was almost like, I'm sorry for what happened all WrestleMania weekend within the company and ESPN. I think it was kind of a both promo, both I'm sorry, because let's face it, there was a lot of heat on his show. What happened with the wrestlers that came on there,
Yeah.
The Rock being on there. I thought his promo was a little bit of both. Hey, I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me. I didn't know they so and so was going to say this. So and so was going to say that. Here, that's when I was watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is I'm sorry, don't fire me promo. That's what I saw when I was watching. But it was one of the best promos I've seen.
I don't know. I like that Rafi goes automatically pessimistic with his take, where he's like, "It's something bad. Like I loved it, but it's bad." And me and Tommy are like all excited about it.
Yeah,
Raph's
that's a great take. I
Yeah.
never even thought of that like that. That's a great take for you. I didn't think of that one iota. I just thought he cut a heartfelt promo and he just laid it out there, and I think everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody did love it. I loved it. It was great.
Oh, I know.
I do think because his team was like, I took the loyalty thing even more so because his whole team of like his boys were there last week and they were all trying to fight Gunther for him as well. That also was just showing like loyalty is everything to Pat McAfee. So like it does make sense why he stepped in. But here's my thing, guys. You know, he had the whole controversy with The Rock coming on and talking to him doing all these things. What if Gunther's just beating the shit? I don't know what I said. The shiitake out of Pat McAfee, and Rock is the one that comes out and saves him.
Oh,
not at Backlash.
Helps him. Come on, just do it. Why not? The Rock said, "Man, you never know what's going to happen." Could imagine? We can't lose. We can't lose Pat McAfee.
You're gonna lose Pat McAfee, but
Michael Cole's gonna save him.
He's gonna show up at MetLife maybe at SummerSlam, but he ain't showing up in St. Louis. No way.
I mean, after what he talked about on the McAfee show, I don't even want to see him anyway, to be quite honest.
I agree.
That's how I feel about that.
I agree.
I totally agree. Yep.
Speaking of some people we don't want to see or maybe I have been happy with, let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about some other stuff on Raw. Becky and Lyra. So we knew we were going to hear from Becky tonight. We knew she was coming out to explain herself. And surprise, surprise, she's the one who attacked Bayley, guys. If you didn't figure it out, that's what we got. Yeah. She finally admitted it. And we got a little bit of physicality between her and Lyra, her on the mic, Lyra on the mic. All right, Tommy, what were your thoughts on that whole Becky Lyra segment and what's going on with that?
You know, the fact of the matter, the way they brought Becky out at WrestleMania, which we all disagreed with, we always thought it should have been the Charlotte match, but giving her the rub already and giving her a tag team title, the tag team title, and now now she's gonna have an Intercontinental Championship match with Lyra, and it just it's too much too fast, and like. There's other superstars like, Chelsea Green just lost her title. There's a lot of other women. But you know what? Here's the difference, guys. She elevates the game big time, and that's who you need. That's what this women's division needs, a big-time elevation. She's going to elevate it. She knows how. She's been around. People like her. People hate her, and that's the reaction she gets. And I think she's probably going to win at Backlash and probably going to be the first female in that faction with Heyman, Rollins, and the dog Braun Breaker big time. Oof. I would love to see that happen big time.
Raphael, what do you think about that?
I like heel Becky, even though I don't think the crowd is ready for a baby Becky right now. I think the heel is probably gonna vote well for the crowd, and I totally agree with Tommy says. She's gonna win a belt. Maybe that improves the significance of the Intercontinental belt on the women's side. We all know the significance of the IC belt on the men's side. Maybe this will promote the women's side of the IC belt. I just think they have to push it right now because there's a lot of female stars who are going to be absent for a while. Liv Morgan, Chelsea, they're all going to be absent for a while. So they need a face like Becky to be out there as a heel to be pushing the other ladies that are still in the locker room. But I think the heel Becky is going to be really potent because they're going to be missing some faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think the heel Becky doesn't really work ever. We've tried it a lot. Yeah. And I think face Becky is so much more acceptable in the sense of what the fans want, because she's had a few times where she's heel and she does like the weird outfits and she's like crazy. She comes out like Conor McGregor-esque. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, what is she doing? Like, I'm so not into it. And it's like almost trying too hard. So I wish there was a way where she could have been face for a little bit longer, let it marinate a little bit more, her and Lyra, because then I think that turn could have meant more. And I think maybe keep it, did we forget about who, attacked Bailey? Was it Becky? Like, to find out so quickly kind of,
But
deflates the balloon a little bit,
yeah,
if you ask
yeah,
me. And where does Bailey fit into all of this now?
Ugh.
Are we going to have this at Backlash, her and Lyra, and then have Bailey step out and be like, I didn't forget that you attacked me, and now I'm coming for you because you just beat up my friend? Or do we involve her now? Like, there's a lot of questions about what we do.
Triple threat.
I'm sure, but now we're having Bailey be this face, and Bailey and Lyra are besties. Like, are we
yeah.
gonna harp on that? Like, there's a lot of questions. I'm way more into, because I like it old school. I'm way more into a Becky Bailey storyline than I am Becky Lyra. But you have to tell the Becky Lyra storyline where Lyra really did look up to her and she was a mentor. Like, I feel like they scraped over that very quickly.
Yeah. Yep.
So the
Yep.
emotion's not 100% there for me.
Yeah,
Does it mean
yeah.
it can't get there? No, because I think Becky wins. We need her to be champion. It just is what it is right now.
Yeah.
Especially if Liv's leaving, I wonder what they're going to do with those tag titles, because they just won them back. Or if we're not
That's
going to
right.
see Liv for a while, what are we going to?
That's
How
right.
are we going to? Do we put the tag titles on Lyra and Bailey because they're best friends now, and so, like, move that around? Like, this is when it comes to the tag team too. This is a whole different topic, but like, sometimes they just throw these girls together or guys, and I'm not into it because it's not real, or it's not enough emotion for me to get on. Do you guys agree with me on that? I know that's a different kind of take than what we were talking about, but
Yeah, I think they do. They do. You're absolutely right. They throw these women together, and then you expect them to gel, and they expect you
right.
to like it or not like it, depending if you're a baby face or a heel. What I would really like to see is, man, if Becky gets that IC championship, I would love to see a program with her and Rhea. I mean, I don't think they've ever had an angle together. Do you remember Gabby or Raph in the
I
past
don't
before
think
Becky left?
so.
Boy, I got to tell you, that would be some program between her and Rhea Ripley right there. Because Rhea really doesn't have anything going on right now,
Right.
besides what we just talked about, possibly having a tag match with Iyo and then the other two from Roxanne and the other one, Julia from
Julia,
NXT.
yeah.
Yeah, is that her name, Julia, right?
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
hope I'm right.
you're
So
right, yeah.
I think, man, look, Rhea, that can get some mileage. Rhea and Becky could get some mileage out of it.
I mean, I could see that, considering how over Rhea is, and now they're going to make Becky this. They're going to try to,
Oh,
make
yeah.
her this uber heel. And if she does align with Seth, that would make it interesting for Rhea. Because what if they were to do a tag match? Who would come to Rhea's aid? Would we? That's a lot of questions, but a lot of cool stuff can come of that as well. What do you think about that, Raphael?
Well, I see all the mix matching and just throwing stuff to see if it sticks, but don't forget we have something just around the corner called the draft, so we can see a lot of new
Oh.
faces and a lot of new other names. And I think that's when Liv and Chelsea and all make their comeback during that. That's where we find out where they're going. So I can see Becky and them trying to hold the fort down until that horrible day of the draft. But I think that's when we see these new stars come back.
I love the draft. It makes me laugh.
It's the worst.
We have everyone drafted to these places, but they're going to show up wherever they want, whenever they want anyway.
Oh,
So
my God.
that's the draft.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just kind of madness.
You're absolutely right.
Whatever
That's
makes
the
sense
draft.
makes sense, and we're going to just feed it to you if you want to see it.
Craziness.
Something else positive from tonight that we all seem to love had to be the Logan, Paul, and Jey Uso spot. Coming out of WrestleMania, we did say, like, who's going to be that first heel for Jey. I think Logan is an amazing choice, because Logan, I think, is ready to be in the title picture. Tommy, I know you're a big fan of him. What did you think about that tonight?
I love it. I called it a couple of weeks ago. I said Jay's first title defense has to be Logan Paul. You want to jump off and jump in the deep water. You want people to have heat in a match. These two will have serious heat. You saw what he did at the end. Bam, hit Logan like that. It was like, holy Christmas. We didn't see that coming. But Logan is just so good at cutting a promo, not screaming in your face,
Yep.
right in Jey Uso's face. He laid him out with the Intercontinental Championship line and everything. And I think these two could really make magic working together in the ring, because Logan could go any way you want working in the ring, and so could Jey Uso. And it's a great title defense for Jey, because they're both still relatively young. Now, I know Jay's been around a long time, but Logan's been around like 4 years. Two young guys going at it. I think people will love it.
Listen, what do you? I'm going to say what I want to say, but I want to hear from you first, Rafi, on this one.
Yeah, this is a Backlash event with Jey Uso still winning because I have. Well, we're getting the Money in the Bank winner we saw tonight. There's two of them that I think who's going to win, Paul or Braun Breaker. And I have right now. I put these odds out this morning. Logan Paul minus 125 and even money for Braun Breaker. So I don't see Paul winning at Backlash. He's not going to get the belt at Backlash, but I do think he wins Money in the Bank, which I think will be more significant than him with the belt itself. So I think he gets it on Money in the Bank.
Oh, interesting. By the way, when you said Paul or Braun, he wasn't talking about Paul Heyman. I almost had a heart attack for a second that you said Paul Heyman's going to win the Money in the Bank.
That'd be great. I don't think he can climb.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. That would make history. Yeah, you just toss it down to him and say that he won. It's kind of bad that I want to see Logan Paul win at Backlash. I know that sounds terrible, but like imagine the shock of that guy winning, beating Jay. I love Jay, but I just think the madness that would happen. Even the way Logan sold what Jay did to him just with the falling back. Like he's so good and he shouldn't be as good as he is. That's what I always say about him. But he cuts a promo. He doesn't get jittered by the crowd. He's never like thrown by anything. He doesn't care what you say about him. I want to see him win a Money in the Bank, but I think Braun winning, if, we get Becky aligned or whatever, if they want to be anything, that faction of them, they need to start putting some gold on them. It was like when the Judgment Day showed up and they were like, we run Raw. And I said, what titles do you have? Literally. Because I said, you run Raw. You say it every week. You just beat people up though, and you don't have any titles. So I do think that Braun winning would make them stronger in the faction in the way that they're going. So I don't think that's a bad idea either. But absolutely love what we saw from Logan and Jay tonight. I think it's clear. It's a clear good versus evil, which we love to see.
And let's give Jay some credit, given all that praise to the kid down in the front row that just had cancer. Almost
I almost cried. Literally almost cried.
But you know what, Gabby? Braun is a great choice to have Money in the Bank because now you're building that faction up. If they eventually get Becky in, she's the IC champ. You got the Messiah there, you got the Wise Man, and you got this guy with the Money in the Bank. But you know what I would love to see? Could you imagine, just think of this, guys, Logan Paul winning the Money in the Bank and bringing that briefcase to a UFC event on social media, how friggin' annoying he could be going on a plane or doing what he has to do. He would elevate Money in the Bank up to here because he's so damn good and entertaining. That's part of the reason why I would love to see him win Money in the Bank and just carrying that case around. And what does that do for the company, by the way? Oh, my God.
That suitcase would be like the Stanley Cup. That suitcase would be like the Stanley Cup. He would take it to the pool. He would take it to planes. Yes.
But when he had that one title, he took it to bed with him and his wife. He was taking the pictures of him naked with it. And he brought it to the UFC events. And
he brought it to the UFC,
I think they have a show now, too, him and his brother and his fiance and like the other, So that in and of itself would bring so much eyes to the product, which is exactly what the whole point of them being on Netflix and doing these things does. So you're 100% right. That would actually be pretty epic if he did win the Money in the Bank and that suitcase was just everywhere.
But your point, bringing Braun in and winning the Money in the Bank and like, man, look, Paul Heyman say, look what I got, guys.
Yeah.
I got an Intercontinental Champion. I got the Messiah and I got Braun Breaker. You never know what's going to happen. That's another great thought, man. They got two good ways to go with this. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this. Like I said, this is just kind of a taste into it. So we'll have some time to figure some stuff out. We'll have to see some more Raws and SmackDowns on the road to Backlash because we're not we are technically on the road to WrestleMania, but it's a long way to go. So I'm not bringing that back up after Vegas kicked my ass like it did, by the way, guys. You have no idea. I couldn't even make it to the show last week. I was dying, but it's fine. I know you guys missed me. Did you miss me more last week than you missed Coach tonight is the real question.
Oh, that's not even a question. You know the answer.
That's all that matters.
Upset.
If you are tuning in, yes, Coach is out, and I am filling in for him with my guys, Tommy and Raphael. Something I did want to hit on before we wrapped up tonight, there was a very interesting video that came out of Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. I don't know if you guys caught this or saw this, so we can give our take on it, but I do think Producer Man has the actual video, so we could play that right now, and then we'll react to it.
Why so? Because you know who I am. But you don't know why he's here. This is so badass. Like, you people know who we are. You have no idea what we're about. We're back, Hulkster. We are so back.
Just so better than before.
It is so good to see you again, my brother. Oh, it's been too long.
I love you the most.
No, I love you.
No, I love you the most. You are my favorite of all favorites. But we ran so hard. We changed the world one time. But now, we're here to wake them up. We're here to slice and dice the world of wrestling. And you're not gonna know what hit you.
You know we've changed the world of professional wrestling. You can beat anybody. That's a given.
Anybody?
It's going to rock your world. Hey, should we tell him? Should we tell him who our third man is? Should we talk about his credentials? Should we talk about all of his championships? Should we talk about the world-class athletes that he has brought to the very top of this sport? Should we talk about that? No. Not yet. But do stay tuned, because when we do announce our third man, it's gonna rock your world.
Oh, he's a badass, too. He's a real badass.
So he's a badass, apparently. Do we have? I need your Tommy. Do you think
right.
you know? Okay, he just.
I mean, we all think who we think it is, right? I mean, they're leading towards as a chairman. I personally don't think it's that. But here's the thing, guys. Every true wrestling fan, every mark around the world watching that can't wait to watch the next one because they get you. They got you from them just coming on, doing an NWO type 2.0, the way they shot it, black and white, leading on to this, leading on to that. And it gets you. I'm interested. I'm actually interested to see what this can be. If it's something really big or it's something that they think is big. And when we hear about it, it's not big at all. But I'm interested in it. I'm really wondering what's going to happen. But they grabbed you. And that's the point of a promo. They grabbed you as soon as they start talking, saying, we're back. And then your mind just starts going here. And world-class athletes, world champions. I mean, who does that make you think of, guys? It's very smart the way they cut that promo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking I think it's going to be like a podcast or something. They're going to sit down and be talking about, whatever it is that they want to talk about. I think this teaser is genius. Raphael, what did you think when you watched that? Do you think you know who the third man is?
Let's see. A guy's on vacation again. He's not here. No, that's the wrong person. But it's got to be a podcast because they're saying it's a third person. And now these days, if you have a show or a podcast, you need three people. So if one person is on vacation, like always, or someone's sick and all that, you will have someone to fill in at least a 2 spot on it. So I believe it's some kind of a show or a podcast. I was hoping maybe Real American Beer turned into light beer. Maybe I thought that was something. Maybe Hogan would put a shirt on, not a tank top, because those arms are flabby. I was thinking a whole bunch of stuff besides the stuff that he was doing, but I'm thinking it's probably a podcast or some type of show.
Are we excited if that's what it is, or is that like a letdown if that's what it is?
No, that's a letdown for me.
Yeah.
But you're probably right. It's going to be, like I said, they're making it bigger than what it is. We're back, blah, blah, blah. Make it sound like, are they going to invade AEW or TNA or maybe even WWE? That's the first thing you think of is invasion, because that's how NWO really started with Hall and Nash. Everybody thought they were still with WWE invading the territory of Nitro when they came on the show. Matt, what did you think, Gabby? Did it grab you right from the beginning or what?
I mean, it grabbed me because I want to know things that are going on. That's just me and my nature. So like the black and white, the effects of like them talking, I'm like, it has to be a big deal, because to me, that wasn't my time of when I was watching when those guys were all together. But like I see Hogan, I see, uber veteran. Same with Bischoff. So I'm like, if the two of them are holding off on a third person, that third person is going to be an even bigger name. So it has to be a big deal because I see them as two big names in the business from my standpoint as a fan. So I'm like, if the two of them are sitting there like, oh, we're not going to tell you yet, then it has to be a big deal. And if it's not as big of a deal in my mind as it is, it's going to be a little bit of a letdown for me. I do think a lot of people do podcasts now. So like, I wouldn't be shocked if it's another podcast, but we'll have to see.
God, here's my thing with this. You're making this and they're making it a big deal. I mean,
Right.
they were on like 90 seconds, wherever how long
It was
producer.
long.
Yeah, it was long. And they're making and then you come out and say it's a podcast. That's like,
If that's what they say.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody said it. That's like deflatable big time. It's like, are you kidding me? You brought this all up. I have a guy with this and that and
Right.
this and that, and we're waking everybody up. And then it's going to be a good old podcast. That does nothing for me, man. Nothing
Unless
at all.
it's not. What if it's like a live show or something?
Yeah, it could be a live show.
Could be.
I mean, they could. I think live shows are always better than podcasts, like doing the interactions.
Well,
and I did say this to you guys. I saw a couple people online, and I know it's bad to read the online stuff and bring it up, but this is why we chat.
No, this is it.
I saw someone saying, "What if the third man is Vince McMahon?"
Yeah, that's what I referenced. Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think Vince needs them. I think if Vince does anything, it'll be doing something with his son Shane to represent the company because of Vince's name and all the BS he's going through right now. So it's not a good business sense to say, I'm Vince McMahon, I'm starting this company, you want to come along or blah, blah, blah. Talk to me. No, talk to Shane. He represents the company and we'll go from that point on. But man, I would be shocked. I mean, shocked 10 times over. I'd shave my head to see if that was Vince with Bischoff and Hogan. Oh my God.
I never wanted something more in my life, Raphael. We take bets on that now. Now we have to take bets. Well, Tommy ended up shaving his head. That's the new bet.
Who cares, right?
I'm calling Hulk Hogan right now.
Also, if Vince is going to come back or have some kind of big comeback, maybe don't do it with Hulk, who gets insanely booed every time he's on TV and people talk about him. Like, pick and choose a little bit better if that's the move. But like, what do I know? You know what I mean? I'm just a girl.
If I had to do odds, I would probably make Kevin Nash probably maybe one of the favorites because he kept on mentioning championships. He's a bit. They can't bring anyone bigger than them two. So it's not unless they're going to bring in Ric Flair. That's the only one I can think that we may be close to bigger than them two. They're not going to bring anyone up to that echelon. It's got to be someone a little bit lower. So I can see Kevin Nash.
He also,
you're right.
Didn't he say too, he like brought in a lot of athletes, something about like him bringing in a lot of these great athletes, maybe trained them or something. I think it's someone that maybe did a little bit more for some other people and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of people online, like you said Taker, but he's under contract with WWE and he would never jeopardize that for these two. No way. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I wonder when we'll find out next, if it'll be a week or if it's.
We're talking about it, right? So.
I know it's going to be interesting, but I will say they did a good job of teasing us because we're talking about it and we want to see what's going to happen and we're talking possibilities. So hopefully Tommy gets to shave his head. That's really all I want now. I don't even care. I don't even care what they come out with. I want it to be Vince so bad now. So Tommy shaves his head, and I'm letting you know right now. The minute I find out who it is, I'm going to bug out if that's what it is, because I'm going to call Tommy and be like, I'm coming over and I'm shaving it for you, because that's going to be the greatest thing of all time.
Oh my God.
Extended version of BTT last word. Tommy's head shaved.
Coach is going to be like, what?
Guys, Coach and Carlucci.
Oh my God. Yeah. But Coach, whatever. But Coach wasn't here for this, so he doesn't get to enjoy it because he missed out today.
He'll be on vacation. He'll be on vacation again anyway. So
that's true. That's true. He won't even be here for that episode when we shave your head anyway. He's going to be too cool for us, so it's completely fine.
I love it.
Love you, Coach. You're probably listening somewhere. Yep. Maybe.
I'm fired.
But
great show, man. Great show, Gabby.
Great show, guys. Absolutely loved talking with you. This has been The Last Word with me, Gabby LaSpisa, my guy, Tommy Carlucci, and my other guy, Raphael Esparza. I had the best time chatting up with you tonight, and we will see you all next week. Oh, catch Shane Hartline interview.